This is Darshana Gauchan with your B2B Cambodia Market update for October 24th, 2025. The Cambodia Securities Exchange Index was down 0.02 points to 403.56. Total trade volume was up with 67,926 shares changing hands at a total value of 257 million real or over $64,000. On the main board, 3 stocks were up. Leading the market was MJQ Education, up 0.51% or 10 real to 1,980 real per share, followed by Sihanoukville Autonomous Port, which rose 0.16% or 20 real to 12,180 real per share. Phnom Penh Autonomous Port was also up 20 real to 13,500 real per share. On the downside, Grand Twins International was the biggest loser of the day, dropping 0.85% or 60 real to 7,040 real per share, followed by Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority, which dropped 0.65% or 40 real to 6,140 real per share. Meanwhile, the remaining 4 stocks on the main board stayed flat. Over on the growth board, JS Land was up 1.49% or 40 real to 2,730 real per share, while DVD Engineering stayed flat at 2,020 real per share. MJQ Education recorded the highest trade volume of the day with 25,590 shares changing hands at a total value of 50 million real or over $12,000, approximately 38% of the total trade volume on Friday. Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority recorded the second highest trade volume of the day with 13,521 shares changing hands at a total value of 82.8 million real or over $20,600, about 20% of the total trade volume on October 24th. Moving on to the exchange rate, the Khmer Real to USD strengthened to 4,028 real per US dollar, while the US dollar index was stable at 99.05. Looking at global commodities, oil prices were little changed on Friday, stabilizing after the previous day's surge and remaining on track for a weekly gain as fresh U.S. sanctions on Russia's 2 biggest oil companies over the war in Ukraine fueled supply concerns. Brent crude futures were up 12 cents or 0.2% at $66.11 US. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures added 16 cents or 0.3% to $61.95 US. Gold prices dropped more than 1% and were poised to break a 9-week winning streak as investors booked profits and signs of easing trade tensions between the U.S. and China tempered safe haven demand ahead of a key U.S. inflation report. Spot gold was down 1.5% at $4,063.46 US per ounce, making a 4.3% decline so far this week, its largest weekly percentage drop since November 2024. Gold prices dropped more than 1% and were poised to break a 9-week winning streak as investors booked profits and signs of easing trade tensions between the U.S. and China tempered safe haven demand ahead of a key U.S. inflation report. Spot gold was down 1.5% at $4,063.46 US per ounce, marking a 4.3% decline so far this week, its largest weekly percentage drop since November 2024. U.S. gold futures for December delivery fell 1.7% to $4,077.10 US per ounce. U.S. equity futures gained as trade tensions eased and investors stuck to bets on U.S. Federal Reserve interest rate cuts ahead of a key inflation reading later on Friday. As of the time of the Cambodian market's closing, contracts on the S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 advanced after a tech-led rally on Wall Street, gaining 0.34% and 0.53% respectively. Meanwhile, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 0.13%. This was Darshana Gauchan with your B2B Cambodia Market update for October 24th. Have a great weekend.